Hi, my YouTube friends. So today I'm going to go step by step with you to create a station rotation in Keynote. Creating it in Keynote is going to give your students an audio and a visual. I'm going to set it up so that it works automatically, so you don't have to tell kids to switch. You're just taking all that and putting it in your Keynote. And like I said, it's going to run itself. It's easy to edit. It's going to be fantastic. So if you need that tutorial, if you'd like to see how to do that, follow along and make one with me. Okay, so I'm going to open up Keynote, and if it asks me if I want to start with an outline or a theme, I'm just going to choose a theme, and I'm going to start just with a classic white. I'm going to highlight all of these boxes. I'm going to push delete. So the first thing I'm going to add is a table, and I'm just going to add a basic table. And this week I'm going to have 4 different teams. And I'm just going to name them like this for now. And before the kids come in to the classroom, I'm actually going to put their names underneath this team name. So these are not really my students. These are actually people that I went to high school with. Okay. And then if I want to make the name smaller, there's a shortcut here. I could just push Command and the minus sign. Since I only have those 5 students and they fit there, I could just leave it like this. So underneath all of these, I would actually put the names of the students who are actually on those teams. This week, I'm going to do error analysis, spiral review, Kaboom, a review game on their iPad, and then they're going to work with me. So those are the 5 different things they're going to kind of rotate through. One thing that's super important is that we've done all of these things in the past as a whole group. I never send them off to do something in a small group and just think that I have the expectation that they'll know what to do or, how to behave and have all the expectations. We've done it. We've done all of these things together. So I'm going to quickly fill those in. Okay, so I moved things around a little bit. So here's my final kind of product that we're going to use tomorrow. So then I'm going to take this slide and I'm going to duplicate 4 times because we're going to have actually 5 times because we're going to have 5 rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I duplicated it 4 times for a total of 5 slides. So on this first slide here, I'm going to click on that first activity and the second row, and I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to come over to the last one, and it's going to kind of highlight that whole row. And then over here where it says cell, I'm going to highlight that with, I'm going to use yellow. And then on the next slide, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click in the first in this A3, and then I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to come across to D3 and highlight that whole row. And again, I'm going to fill with yellow. And I'm going to do that because this is going to kind of highlight where students are during each rotation. Okay, and now on this first slide, I'm going to duplicate these so that I have 2 of each slide. And there's other ways to do it, but this is just a really quick way to do it. Okay, so I have 2 of each slide. So on the first one of each slide, I'm going to add a text box, this red and white text here, and I'm going to each time tell students to clean up and get ready to switch to the next station, except for the first one. That's kind of odd to tell them to clean up and switch. So I'm just going to, for the first one, put something like, and then for all the others, let's see, I'm going to copy this, Command copy, whoops, highlight it, Command copy, and then the first one of each row, if that makes sense. So on the third slide here, I'm going to Command V, and then here I'm going to put clean up and switch. And the students will know to put their stuff away and get the materials that they need for the new station or the new activity. So I'm going to skip slide 4 because it looks exactly like slide 3 without the switching. And then the next slide, I'm going to Command V. And then the next slide, the exact same row is highlighted. And then the next slide, which is slide 7, I'm going to Command V. Slide 8 is the same row again, so slide 9, I'm going to Command V. I'm going to go ahead and add a beginning and an ending slide, and it's just going to be a blank. Come up here to the very top, and I'm going to add slide, and I'm going to add a blank. And I'm going to move, there we go. So I have a blank, and then I have my series of slides. I'm going to go ahead and add a marker felt. I'm going to go ahead and add good morning with an exclamation point. I'm going to highlight this and make it maybe 200 font. If you can hear students playing outside, I live on the playground, so it's always fun to hear them playing out there. So here I'm going to add, I'm just going to add like a sunshine, I think. Maybe this one. And I'm going to make it kind of large. And I'm going to style, I'm going to fill it with yellow because it is sunshine. And I'm going to give it a border to just kind of make it look a little bit better. Okay, on the last slide, I'm going to add a text box and tell students, thank them for their work today. Whoops. Okay, put an exclamation point there. I'm going to highlight the first slide. I'm going to push the shift bar and I'm going to go all the way down and click on the last slide, and that highlights all of my slides. And then over here, right here where it says background, I'm going to change that to a light blue, just kind of give it a little bit more character. And then I'm going to, so I have a visual here. So what we're going to do is we're going to time these so that maybe get materials and switch is that slide's going to be on for 1 minute, and then the next slide's going to be on for however many minutes you want students to be at the station. So for these, for this activity, I'm just going to put in 10 minutes for each rotation, but I'm going to show you how to customize that for you. But before I do that, I want a visual for them to switch, but I also want an auditory for them to switch. So I'm going to add a song. Let's choose. And in my downloads, I have an MP3, which is a song. I'm going to just use this one. And I will put in a video to show you how to get some free music. So start on audio click. I'm going to take that off because I'm going to ask it to start automatically. I'm going to have it loop, and I'm going to have it play across slides. So I don't want it to play across all the slides. I only want it to play on slides where I have that red marker that we're going to switch. And that's going to be the student's auditory cue that it's time to clean up and switch to the next activity or their next station. And when they look up there, they'll see what their next station is. So it works out really well. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on this, and then it's highlighted right now, and I'm going to use 2 fingers to click, and I'm going to copy, or I would push Command C. And then on each slide that has the red visual that says that we're switching, I'm going to put a copy of this song. So I went ahead and copied it here because I'm going to go to each of these slides and paste it. And I'm just going to use Command V, or I'm going to use 2 fingers to tap and then push paste. And then I might even do it on the last slide just to kind of indicate that we're finished with that last station. Okay, and I'm going to click on each of them, and I'm going to make sure that I have play across slides. So what's going to happen is this song is going to loop, but it's only going to play when it's on the slide. And then I'm going to make sure that I have my right settings. I want it to start automatically. I want it to be on loop, and I want it to play audio across slides. Like I said, it's only going to be on the slides that I copied and pasted. Okay, and it looks like they're all set up correctly, which is fantastic. Okay, and the last thing that I need to happen is I need to put in my timings, right? I need to put in a transition and a timing for each slide so that students will be at the stations for the right amount of time. So I'm going to click on this first slide, and I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to click on the last slide, and I'm going to click animate, and I'm going to add an effect, and I'm just going to go with the first one because I think that'll be fine, but I don't want it to be on click. I want it to be automatically. And let's put this for the delay to be 60 seconds because that's how long I'm going to give students to switch to the next activity. 1 minute should be plenty of time. If you want to give them 2, put 120 seconds in there. Okay, it's going to be in time, in seconds, I mean. So now that's on all of them. So then I'm going to go back because every single, see, I want the very first one to be on click because the very first one I'm going to have up as students walk into the room. And one thing that I really noticed is that when I do check-ins with students when they first get to class, if I have music playing, even if it's not music that they like, if it's not their music, they will still report that they're having a better day than when I don't have music playing, which I find really interesting. So I wonder if you would put in the comments, is there anything that you do in your classroom that no matter what improves the mood of your classroom automatically? So I'm going to come here. And so the slides this slide is what students are going to see when they're actually at their station. So good morning, you're going to click it. It's going to come here. It'll be here for 60 seconds, and then it's going to go to the next slide. And that's where they're going to just be working on that activity. So on these slides, I'm going to do 10 minutes. So I'm going to change this to 600 seconds. So I'm going to go to all of these and change them to 600. So that one's 60, which is perfect, and then this one should be 600. I'm going to add a 0 in there. And then that'll be perfect. So there you go. In that short amount of time, you have set this up, and this is going to work so fantastic for you because you don't have to try to set up a bulletin board. You don't have to run up and switch things. I've done it. A couple of things that I wanted you to notice in here. So my paraprofessional, I have a paraprofessional for part of math period, and he likes to play Kaboom with the students. So that's exactly what he does. After this class period, he leaves. So this last class plays Kaboom by themselves, which they're very capable of doing. The other thing is, where I work with students these first 4 station rotations, and then the last one, I have a lot of flexibility, and I highly recommend that you build in flexibility within your own stations. So during that last station rotation, I have the flexibility to pull kids in that need extra help. I have the flexibility to progress monitor during that time, or I can just walk around and connect with students. And that is really valuable time. And since I started doing that, I just love it. And like I said, I highly, highly recommend it because I think that you will love that extra time as well. So if this brought you value, please subscribe. I'm going to do a whole 5-day series at least on doing these stations. My students see so much growth with these exact station rotations, and I want to share those with you. If you click that notification, it'll tell you when the video comes out. And like I said, it's just a really great way. So leave a comment down below about some of the things that you do in your station rotations or questions that you have. Like I said, together, I think that we're better. And so please share. Thanks, everybody.